Donald Trump is using Judge Aileen Cannon again, this time to be the lead judge as he seeks to prosecute his political critics and Democratic icons, including Barack Obama. And he's using the Southern District of Florida U.S. Attorney as well. Did I get your attention? Well, we cover it on Legal AF, Legal AF, the podcast, and I did it with Karen Friedman Agnifilo, my regular host, who's also a former prosecutor. Here's a clip. There's a big scandal, Karen, brewing down in the Southern District of Florida, my neck of the woods. The U.S. Attorney there, handpicked by Donald Trump, apparently, with the advice of a guy named Mike Davis, which I'm going to remind people with a clip in a moment. Jason Redding Quinones, who had been a state court judge for about a year, placed there by DeSantis, then got made the U.S. attorney, had been in the Air Force before, and had worked in this particular office. Now it looks like Mike Davis who's like the Laurel Loomer in this story, finagled a way to have and has recommended to the Trump administration that this attempt to go after Barack Obama and James and William Brennan, the former intelligence director, CIA, and Clapper in the intelligence community, and others, FBI people and others, that should be placed in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Miami. And then you should use Aileen Cannon, who's 80 miles north at the farthest reaches of the Southern District in Fort Pierce, where she sits alone to do the grand jury work and to preside over the cases, including potentially the indictment of Barack Obama. It is unholy. It is disgusting. It is unethical. And of course, we're going to cover it here on Legal AF. So, Karen, former prosecutor, I want you to weigh in on this. 2 career prosecutors quit because they refused to participate in the grand conspiracy, which is effectively being directed by our chief legal officer in America, Donald Trump, and his Department of Justice, Main Justice, who's cutting out career prosecutors who won't do it and is using instead senior executive level people. It would be like you as the number 2 in the Manhattan DA signing subpoenas for a case that you're not prosecuting. I mean, they found this guy, Manuelo Reboso, who's the number 3 in the office, the executive assistant U.S. attorney in Miami, to sign 30 subpoenas to go out. And of course, we've got the link with Mike Davis. Now, Mike Davis is this former Senate aide who's decided he's going to be, I was afraid they were going to pick him to be attorney general, actually. I'd see some disgusting clips with him. But they use him to run interference and to pick out who and where they should start these investigations. Let me just remind everybody who Mike Davis is, and then I'm going to show you a photo of a smiling Mike Davis with Jason Quinones, the U.S. attorney in Miami. Let's play the clip.
Biggest threat to democracy and to put a bullseye on Trump. So as I've promised and as I will deliver, justice is definitely coming. So lawyer up, because justice is definitely coming.
He's talking about the political critics of Donald Trump there. That was like before Donald Trump got back into office. I mean, that was after he'd been elected. And here is, and then he posts on social media a photo of himself with a smiling Jason Quinones on the right. I'm not sure who's in the middle, with "Justice is Coming" with his MAGA hat on. I mean, first of all, what's your opinion? You've been a prosecutor. Should Quinones be posing in a photo with Mike Davis?
Like, the whole thing is just disgusting. I hate to say it. Justice is supposed to be blind. It's not supposed to only apply to your political enemies. And every other Department of Justice prior to this one has gone after Democrats and Republicans alike if there's corruption, if there's anything that anyone did wrong, and don't ever go after political opponents. This is the very first time I've ever seen anything like this as a prosecutor, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. This whole thing is, first of all, I just have one foundational question. How can they issue subpoenas for crimes that the statute of limitations would have run already? You just count 5 years, right? Because the statute of limitations runs after 5 years unless it's a continuing crime. Obviously, unless there's murder or something that has no statute of limitations, but I assume here this is not anything like that. And so what crime could have continued? I mean, Donald Trump was president, right? He beat Hillary Clinton. And so I don't quite understand. And then he was president for 4 years, and we had Joe Biden for 4 years. And now, we're like 9 years out from Barack Obama. So I think the statute of limitations has run, number one. Number two, the fact that there's more line prosecutors who are resigning in protest is just, again, crazy. I mean, you have to understand, prosecutors, by their very nature, care about crime. And so they can be a little more conservative, right? Because they care about crime, they care about victims, et cetera. These are people who are resigning in protest because of all across the country, which is such it's great for them in the sense that, I'm proud to say that rather than doing something lawless and unjust, you would resign your position. But at the same time, who's left there? Who is left at the Department of Justice? There's this giant brain drain, experience drain, and morality drain from the Department of Justice. These are prosecutors who are willing to go after Donald Trump's political enemies, even where there is no crime, even when the statute of limitations has passed. And so I just can't, I just can't believe that this is happening again, although I should, because they keep, it's like a dog who barks, right? You can't get mad at them. This keeps happening over and over and over and over again. They don't even try to hide it. And the fact that they're forum shopping and going to Judge Aileen Cannon is, again, another playbook of MAGA, right? Like they did with trying to get the abortion pill, mifepristone, the nationwide injunction. They went to that one district that, Judge Kaczmarek, who's like one judge sitting in one area, and he's very MAGA. And they're doing it again with Judge Cannon, because Judge Cannon is willing to make rulings that no other judge is willing to do, that all support Donald Trump, as we saw from the Mar-a-Lago documents case. So I don't see how this is going anywhere. This to me seems just like they're trying to hassle Obama, make some news, and make them hire lawyers and make them turn over documents and et cetera. But I don't know how you're going to get a judge to order any of these things to be done if the statute of limitations is passed. So I don't get this one at all.
I agree with you. I mean, look, we got, as we're on the air, MSNBC was reporting that a source close to former CIA Director John Brennan confirms he's received a subpoena. Another source says all the subpoenas relate to the preparation for the 2016. I don't know last time people looked. This is 2025. It's 9 years ago. There's only one crime statute that I'm aware of that doesn't have a expiration date, and that is treason. So unless they're going for treason, everything else has a 5-year statute of limitations. I mean, could they get a grand jury under Aileen Cannon to come back with treason? Because let's just say it out loud. There's been speculation within the intelligence community for years that Donald Trump was a Russian asset. There is speculation within the intelligence community for years that Tulsi Gabbard, who's the head of our national intelligence community now, is or was a Russian agent. Okay. The former FBI assistant deputy director, Andy McCabe, believes in his heart that Donald Trump was a Russian agent. And Donald Trump himself called on the Russians to release the Hillary Clinton emails to help him during the campaign. And this conflation of terms, Barack Obama and the intelligence community did not reach a conclusion that the Russians interfered with votes and flipped votes at machines or software level. But they did reach a conclusion that the Russians, along with other trolls in other countries like North Korea and China, were trying to brainwash and influence Americans through social media to pick one candidate over another. You see it every day. You just don't know you're watching it every day. And now with AI on top of it, you're watching AI generated, Hillary Clinton saying crazy shit out loud, or Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, you're talking 2016 when AI was in its infancy. Can you imagine what's going on now on Facebook and the dark web? Not even on the dark web, just on Facebook around election time. All sorts of crazy Russian trolls and others working overtime to try to get whoever Putin wants to get elected. Now, you need to recognize, and Twitter and X, you need to recognize that, have a cybersecurity system and infrastructure around our elections to protect it from that. But Donald Trump says, oh, they think that I was in collusion with the Russians. No, but you were doing things in parallel. The Russians wanted you elected and you wanted you elected. And so there were things that you were doing in parallel. That doesn't mean that there was evidence to suggest that Donald Trump colluded, like he was on a red hotline with the Kremlin, like, hey, you know, you can help me today? Go do this. I mean, that's not what the case was about or the investigations were about. John Durham went 3.5 years and tens of millions of taxpayer dollars and found nothing to it, nor anyone else to indict at the highest level. So did the Inspector General for the Department of Justice and the FBI. So this is all.
Didn't they indict, I think, 8 Russian people? I think they did indict.
Yeah, they indicted people here and there, like, you know,
yeah.
Lev Parnas got indicted, and Igor Frum got indicted for other reasons. A couple of guys got indicted with the Durham investigation. You know, Mueller never indicted anybody. He just made recommendations, you know, for people to follow. But it's scary. And Aileen Cannon, who took an oath, there is enough appearance of impropriety around her. Let's just go through it. She was shortlisted and listed to be the Attorney General for Donald Trump during his transition. It leaked. It was never denied by the Trump administration. And so she knew about it. Yet she stayed on his cases, including Mar-a-Lago. She stayed on his cases, including the assassination attempt, the guy that was convicted ultimately by a jury. That's one. 2, she's the first federal judge in 200 years against Supreme Court precedent to find that a special counsel or prosecutor was illegally appointed by the Attorney General, killing the Mar-a-Lago indictment and prosecution. If that's not a solid for your patron, Donald Trump, I don't know what is. Even if you think she was just doing her job, the appearance of impropriety in the public's mind that she can be independent and be neutral doesn't exist. So the fact that there's now reporting in New York Times, Washington Post, MSNBC, and Legal AF that there is a conspiracy afoot to use the U.S. attorney in Miami as a tool, as a cudgel, combined with her to go after Donald Trump's political enemies. That alone should lead her to say, you know what, I'm going to recuse myself. And then that case, whatever it is, gets reassigned to another judge in the Southern District. And there's dozens of very fine judges in the Southern District of Florida. And even up there, Judge Rosenberg, Judge Middlebrooks up in West Palm Beach. That's what she should do. That's what I call on her to do here on Legal AF. Putting aside Jason Quinones and the oaths that he took by the Florida bar, by the Constitution to get sworn in, by the Department of Justice manual, by the the principles of federal prosecution, which all have gone out the window while he smiles with his thumbs up or whatever with Mike Davis, who's calling the shots here apparently about all of that. Oh, thank you for putting it back up. But disgusting. So yeah, that's it. We need to just drill down and focus on it and put pressure. That's where crowds and courage come in. Put pressure on people like the U.S. Attorney and Judge Cannon. Welcome back. We sit at the intersection of law and politics on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to catch you up on all things law and politics. Full-length version is an hour long. We're doing great with your fervent support. We're regularly in the top 30 of all YouTube podcasts, regardless of genre. We could use a little help on the audio side. Slide over to the Apple or Spotify, download Legal AF, set reminders, leave comments, come over to Legal AF YouTube. We're marching towards 1 million subscribers. We may be able to hit it by Thanksgiving with your help. We're at 940,000 and counting right now. And if you want to get a commercial-free version of the show, come over to Legal AF, a Substack. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.